We really can't say how many animals saved how many lives, but we estimated at least 10,000 lives in Vietnam alone.
Animal X investigates the weird world of animal mysteries. First, some unbelievable stories of bravery by courageous canines, ones that have risked their own lives to save others.
Dogs are our pets and companions, and we love them even though they often seem unable to do anything more than lie around and run after sticks. But some dogs have a streak of bravery that would put most humans to shame. In situations that would terrify grown men, these dogs persistently protect others, despite the threat to their own lives. These animals are heroes.
We really can't say how many animals saved how many lives, but we estimated at least 10,000 lives in Vietnam alone.
Just as there are brave human beings and cowardly human beings, so there are brave dogs and cowardly dogs.
Animal X travels first to Sault Ste. Marie in Canada and later to Florida to investigate two incredible dogs that walk the fine line between bravery and the risk of sudden death. Paul Guitard is a champion sled racer. He would not be alive today if it wasn't for the bravery of his husky, Grizzly.
I've been sledding for about 2 years when I got Grizzly. And it was the best thing that ever happened because he ended up being my best lead dog.
But helping Paul to become the 8th top sled racer in the world is not the only thing Grizzly will be remembered for. His real challenge began on an ordinary day when Paul took his dogs for their regular walk.
I was going down the trail where I usually go down, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this black bear jumped, and next thing you know, she's on top of me, and she had me by the arm, and I looked over, and here there was 2 cubs on the other side, so what happened was I got right in between her and her cubs. And all of a sudden, Grizzly came back and jumped on the bear and started barking at it, so the bear let my arm go, and I thought, this is it, and I tried to run for the first tree there was. I started climbing up, and the bear again came at me and grabbed me by the foot. And then she started pulling me down the tree, and I started kicking her, and at that time I thought, life was over, Again, Grizzly came, to save me again, and when that the bear started biting at her. I was up the tree, and Grizzly fought the bear for nearly 7 hours. I thought sooner or later Grizzly would run away, or the bear would get up there and it would get me. But no, he was there for me, and he cared enough.
Paul and Grizzly were finally rescued, but Grizzly had stayed by Paul's side for the entire 7 torturous hours. His courage was acknowledged by several awards. Carlene Bradford is an author who has researched and retold dozens of stories about animal heroes, including Paul's.
There seem to be so many stories of animals who somehow or other knew when there was danger and did something about it. I think what was remarkable about Grizzly was that he stayed for so long, and he fought that bear off for so long. It was really quite something for that dog to do that.
But what encourages dogs to show this kind of courageous stamina? Professor Jeffrey Masson is the world's leading expert in animal emotions.
The question is the dog acting instinctively, or is it because of its emotional ties to its companion? And I think the answer is a bit of both. Obviously, a dog is a social creature. It grows up in a pack. It has a loyalty to the pack, and we become part of the pack. So their life is really dedicated to us, the leader of the pack. But sometimes they will risk their lives to save someone who is not the leader of the pack, and that's really quite interesting.
A good example of this is the touching story of Susie, who was one of the thousands of war dogs used in the 14-year war with Vietnam between 1961 and 1975. Susie is responsible for saving dozens of lives, even though only one of them belonged to her primary carer, Paul Morgan.
The whole armed forces in Vietnam had about 4,000 dogs. They did everything. They guarded flight lines, they guarded ammunition, they went out on patrol, they detected mines, booby traps, and the morale of the unit picked up when a dog went up front, with the scouts out front. So they felt if the dog was out front, that they were safer. I knew if I had a dog with me, I could sleep at night.
Susie may have made the young soldier feel safe at night, but that was nothing compared to the astonishing role this dog was about to play in a gruesome battle.
A helicopter gunship fight was going on about, I'd say a mile, half a mile from us. And it hit one of the aircraft and it blew up. So we got sent on a rescue mission to go pick up the downed pilot. His name was Donald Clark. We knew he was out there somewhere. We knew he was shot down. And as we were heading for his aircraft, Susie wouldn't move. So I figured that she'd lost her nerve. And instead, she had alerted on enemy soldiers to our right in bunkers. We would have been ambushed by the same people that shot down Captain Clark's aircraft. Thanks to the dog, none of us got killed. When we got over to Captain Clark's aircraft, of course, he was burned beyond belief. So we wrapped his remains in poncho. Susie sat on top of the remains while we fought away at it. We were completely out of ammo. As soon as the relief aircraft came in, I put Captain Clark up forward in the flight deck, and then Susie sat on his remains there so they wouldn't fall out of the aircraft. Just total, absolute devotion. She just knew what was going on all the time. A lot of people don't even know what those dogs did. It was a terrible crime to leave those animals behind, especially after all the devotion to duty. We ran out on our allies, is what we did. She knew what she was supposed to do, and she walked out front fearlessly and did her job. She was my buddy. I knew that was going to happen. Oh yeah, she's worth my life.
Animals often play vital roles in human society. We have a history of relying on these dogs to protect us and even fight our causes. They are more than just pets, and their ability to put themselves at risk to save someone else elevates them to the same level we reserve for any hero, human or animal.
From astonishing acts of bravery by our faithful companions, dogs turned animal heroes, to the mysterious tales of the animal world continue to fascinate and perplex us. After all, it's said there are stranger things in heaven and earth than we can think of. You've just seen some of them on Animal X.